That would have been
Too late.
appropriate. I know, I finished it.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos. By the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
And welcome to another feel bad episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 530, recorded on Sunday, June 1st, 2025. Tonight we're talking about Bring Her Back. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Rand Diesel. What's up, man?
We's a little juice.
What's going on, baby? You ready to bring someone back?
I'm ready to wheeze a little juice, personally.
Well, that's the same thing, baby. Bring me back from the dead. Put a little juice in me.
I will revive you via the juice.
Give my son the juice!
Speak of the devil.
Speaking of the devil, last but certainly not least, we got your boy Soju calling in from Seoul, South Korea. What's up, dog?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Happy birthday, my boy Randy Z. Happy birthday to you, Stains.
And
What?
many more.
Well, you know what they say. You ask for the juice, you got to be given the juice. So
You got the juice.
You got juice.
Thank you.
Now.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate.
Juiced out your ass. What are you finally 21, Randy? Finally?
Old
Oh,
enough
man.
to drink, huh?
Old enough to drink.
Old
That's
enough
finally
to
where I'm-
party.
Old enough to drink without the man breathing down my neck. No, you know, I'm somewhere in those latter 40s and 30s. Jesus Christ.
It doesn't
Just
matter
skipping it.
anymore.
I'm just skipping a few tracks, you know. Jesus.
I'm 85. You know, what's the difference?
You look pretty
You know,
good.
at this stage, I'm living the life of a very, very confident 85-year-old. Very
These
happy.
knees
With,
are 85.
You
doing
don't look a
whatever.
year over 55.
I appreciate that, man. You know, appreciate you.
Very, very kind thing to say. Gemini season. All the Gemini
I know.
birthdays.
Han Solo.
Are you just surrounded by Geminis, Juice? Is that your
Pretty much, yeah. Like half of
I'm
my
seeing
life
double
is Gemini.
4 Gemini.
I feel like the people that know Gemini are like surrounded by them.
Yeah,
It's-
no,
It
yeah,
seems
like
to be a thing.
a lot of them. No,
Yeah.
that is
So
weird.
you're welcome.
I guess.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I don't-
most of the people we know us both, and we're both Geminis. So I think it might just be situational.
no. I'm really when I'm saying this, I'm talking about my wife. Just is surrounded by other like her friend
my
group.
wife.
My wife.
Somebody's going to. We're in our late
before-
30s, so
Before she met me seems to be. I don't know. That
Okay.
seems to be the case, anyways. Maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know. I'm a Gemini. You can't trust me. There's two of me, right?
I
Whatever.
know you're a two-faced
I only
son of a
trust-
bitch.
You trust one of me, but you can't trust the other one.
one of me
Oh,
tells
boy.
only lies. The other one tells only dank ass jokes.
Both are very useful.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about Bring Her Back, the latest from the Philippou brothers. Before we get into it, we do have some housekeeping. Let's go
Whoa.
ahead and get into it real quick. Brand new month, so that means we got a poll closing and a poll opening. So our June poll just closed. It was hurricane season for the theme Crawl did win it.
Whoa.
Damn, man.
Crawling back to you, Bob.
Oh shit. Look at that.
Honey,
Ty-
you've got a big storm coming.
Tying the podcast together there. I see that. So our July poll is currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys hit us up at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're talking about this July. The theme for July is 1985. This is my takeover month, which
It
I forgot
is.
to include.
You did, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't remember picking any of these movies.
How
Sorry.
drunk was I?
Yeah, I was like, I guess we picked these a long time ago because I don't remember picking any of these.
I had a
so
similar
that's fine.
sensation yesterday. I got a call from my parents. We're catching up or whatever, and my mom's like, "So did you get the gifts I sent you?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I haven't seen anything come through." And she's
No,
like,
but
"Those
thank you."
records I sent over, and I was like, "Oh, I thought I bought those myself and just forgot." Like it happens so frequently. So, yeah,
That is
there you go.
awesome, dude. Yeah, so this is my takeover month. I typed up the information on the poll for Patreon. I totally forgot to say like, hey, this is Bob's takeover month. So this is my takeover month, 1985. I got 3 movies on there. So we reviewed all 3 of these movies in the first like 62 episodes of the show that like I feel like most people have never listened to before. And also I think like the year 1985 is just like very important and like one of the better years of horror since horror's been around, basically. So I chose like 3 of my favorite horror movies of all time that came from 1985, and I put them on a poll. They are Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead, and Day of the Dead.
Whoa, Bob! How are those numbers
mean-
looking? Did I
Look at
make it
you.
on time?
That was perfect. That was perfect timing.
You nailed it. Yeah, really.
You went and
Spot
took a
on.
shit and
I-
came back.
No, I was hurrying really quick to make sure I got back to answer or to
It
ask
was
that question.
actually perfect time. I wasn't even stalling. I was like, whatever
I
happened.
thought you were
happened.
still listening because it was right. on
I
cue.
was not.
Well, those numbers, let me tell you. Day of the Dead, last place, 17%. We got a tie for first place currently. Reanimator and Return of the Living Dead, both sitting at 42%.
Whoa, nice. All right. Yeah, some good choices. You know, we've covered those before previously. I know that you said
Okay, now
We
now we're
have, yeah.
now we're getting into some backtracking. Yeah.
Yeah, now you're doing it.
You want to sing
Now
the
let
birthday
me tell
song
me the
again?
story about this.
Oh, happy birthday, Randy. So, yeah, I per usual am surprised at the current numbers in the poll. It's the first day of the month, so you know who knows what's going to come. I would have assumed that oh no, I think I told I fucked up when I said those numbers. Day of the Dead
Oh God.
is not in last place. I'm sorry. Return of the Living Dead is in last place with 17%.
Oh.
And then Day of the
that's
Dead,
weird.
Reanimator are tied at 42%. So the disrespect for
surprising.
Return of the Living Dead is a little surprising.
Okay. That is
I would've-
surprising.
Man.
I would have expected Day of the Dead to be in last
Yes.
place.
Yeah, that's the one that has like at least classically has been a little bit more like skipped over, I think. Out of that bunch.
It feels that
That's
way.
interesting.
Yeah.
I guess not
It
not
doesn't
to our
have as cool
delightful
vibes,
patrons.
I
Though.
think.
You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have nude gravesite dancing.
I know.
So
I don't
you know.
remember if it has Yabos or not, but the fact that I have to question it.
I don't
is a
think it
problem.
does. It's a problem. Miles on our Slack, he said like he thinks Return of the Living Dead is one of the most underrated horror movies of all time. And my immediate reaction was like, I think it's pretty highly rated, right? But then like the poll would suggest that
I
Maybe
think in
not.
the general world, it's
in the
highly regarded.
I
think.
get it, but I mean, if you're holding it to that standard, I don't know. Like Day of the Dead, I don't know if many people have even seen that.
I wouldn't think so.
comparatively. But
I
I
don't
don't know.
It just
I
it
think
just
I think they're all great movies, to be honest. It's a good.
it
balance.
continues to prove that we have no fucking idea what we're doing. Basically.
Dude, that's absolutely true.
Nobody gives a fuck.
There you go. Get those votes in for the end of the month. We'll see what we're talking about this July. We are dropping mini casts every other Friday over on Patreon. Next up, we're dropping a mini cast this Friday, actually. June 6th on The Ugly Stepsister. It's your boy Bob talking about it.
Whoa, my boy
I am
Bob or your
jealous.
boy Bob?
Your boy Bob, not
Okay, well,
Oh,
not my boy
Bob
me.
Costas.
Bob always costs us.
how is it that like some of the biggest movies of the year are only on the minicast? What's up with that? Is that by
don't know,
design
we're-
this year? We're making everybody sign up for the Patreon if you want the good stuff. If you want
It's
Burial
not.
Ground, you get the free episode. You
Oh, that's for
You know, yeah,
you want the Ugly Stepsister? You gotta pay for that one.
that's the one you gotta pay for.
We'll give you The Conjuring 69 for free, but you got to pay for Sinners. You know,
Mm.
that's
Conjuring 69, man, that might be a porn parody.
That's
for all I
Behind
to
know.
it,
another,
man.
yeah, that's behind another. That's a different paywall.
That's a whole different paywall.
that that Nun and Annabelle are just fucking going ham on each other's crotch. Like it's out there. It's
And the
She's
Threegan's in the
going
cuck chair,
ham
you
on
know.
my crotch.
It's all audio, of course, so they have to describe it the whole time.
oh god.
Oh my God, that
Going
nun is
ham
going
all
ham
over
on that doll's crotch. It's just me describing the
You're
porn
doing it. You're
parody.
actually doing it.
Yeah, they're both silent, right? So I get they'd really just be laying on top of each. Like there would be no sound.
Hooty tooty disco kitty.
The power of Christ compels you. They're just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting wetter by the second because of, holy
Good.
water.
God.
There you go.
Gotta be a more elegant way of putting that.
Ugly Stepsister dropping this Friday over on
my penis.
Never, Randy. It's your birthday. In other Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon subscriber. We got to give mad shouts outs to a big, gigantic thank you to Ellen L for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute does go right back into the show. As is tradition around these here parts, we owe you the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to Ellen.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you, thank you.
I have nothing pithy to add to that. Just thank you.
Thank you for the red ass.
Dead air. All right.
Red ass. Sweet cherry ass. Thank you, Ellen.
It's
We
sweet.
appreciate it. God, I
Weird.
hope so.
This is one of the bigger releases of the year. We should have probably, kept our shit together a little bit.
Oh, this is pretty tight. That's it for Patreon. You guys have anything else you want to plug?
No, my house is clean this week.
Mine as well. I think we're good. If you're good, Bob.
Wiki.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Bring Her Back, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Oh, Bob, I saw you made your own little blue box over there. How many empty blue boxes do you have available for these?
It's
little
the same one I
shenanigans?
use every time.
I don't.
It's-
I don't
Mm.
believe you.
It's not empty though. There's
It's
something.
just there
horrific
actually
in
is
there.
a
We just
disc
don't
in
know what
it.
it is.
It's the
Mhm.
same disc. It is. Chris
What's it?
LaMartina sent out this.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like a Halloween mega mix. It's like a super cut of
sweet.
all these like
That's
really
right.
awesome old school Halloweens, like commercials and TV shows and stuff. Anyway,
That
so
is cool.
Friend
Yeah,
of
he
the
just-
pod, Chris
yeah,
LaMartina
Chris
One of my
LaMartina.
best friends, Chris.
of the
Chris.
pod.
My boy, Chris.
You know him.
Wait. ... Pregnant
The
pause.
the director of WNUF Halloween Special and so many other wonderful films. We did interview him a few years ago on the show. If you want to go listen to that, that's
Oh, yeah,
available
that's a good
to
listener
everybody.
there.
And it is actually a really great interview. I was bummed to miss it. I listened back to it and I was like kicking myself in my own dick for
I
missing
just,
it.
Look,
I just remember Randy butchering his title.
Oh, I
Dude,
totally butchered the name of that.
I still-
That's
It is not an
Out
easy
there
title
mega-
to remember.
Out there, mega tape. some
Halloween
shit.
Mega Mix.
So your
Yeah,
movie, Chris. The mega tape.
It would have been
is
so
the
easy
Halloween
to just put
thing
it
that you-
on my screen and read it whenever I needed to, and I just did
Just-
not. I just did not do it.
We're in
He
a Zoom
laughed.
call.
He laughed the hardest, I think, though, to be fair. It was he's
Yeah.
he took it in stride. I don't think it was. Anyway,
I
you can
love
listen to that interview if you want to.
We're gonna start reviewing our own interviews.
Our own,
next week.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Doing
here's
watch
me and
parties of our own
Randy, and
bullshit.
he's going
You-
ham on
So
my
thankfully,
cross.
Bob is not present here.
Chris. Yeah, we're talking about Bring Her Back. This, you can't buy this yet. It's not up for pre-order yet, but I guarantee you, like, the day this episode drops, it'll be up for pre-order. I promise. So yeah, Bring Her Back. This is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes. This was written and directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. You might recognize those names from Talk to Me a couple years ago.
You better recognize those names.
I know. They also had the Raka Raka YouTube channel, which was like mostly comedy, some action stuff, and they sort of broke out onto the scene, if you will, with Talk to Me, in this movie. They don't fuck around with the horror. They don't fuck around. This movie stars Billy Barrett, Sally Hawkins, Mishka Haywood, Jonah Wren Phillips, some other lovely folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother. It's a brand new release, first time watch for all of us. Gentlemen, would you recommend folks check out Bring Her Back? Rand Diesel, kick us off.
I would give it a not loose at all, very direct and pointed recommend for this year. Absolutely worth watching. Go check this out while it's still in theaters. Do it. Do it now. Do it fucking now. Thank you.
Sound like you're on the fence a little bit there, but I guess we'll get to the bottom of that shortly. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, 2025 is finally starting to heat up a scotch now that we're heading into June. 2 good movies back to back, boys. What's happening? The gods have blessed us. But yeah, I would recommend people check this out. It is a bleak film. It is quite bleak and brutal. It's a very brutal type of horror movie. So it's not one where you're going to be getting some jokes or some campy gore or anything like this one. This one is a hard watch. There is like some child death and brutality, so it could be difficult for some people to watch. But I think it's going to be,
But not these people.
but not us. We really like that kind of thing.
We live for that shit.
Really get into it. Yeah.
Some of us watch it first thing in the morning when they wake up.
With their eggs and toast.
Brush my teeth to it.
But yeah, I would recommend this movie. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
Oh, yeah. I definitely would recommend people check this out. This is similar to Talk to Me, but maybe even more so than that movie. There's no levity. It is like a capital H horror movie. It is grim and dreadful. It is not a good time. It's relentless. But I think it's definitely worth watching for sure. It's a big time recommend for me, but just go into it knowing it's a big bummer. Just know that.
I'm going to point out one thing that to add to my recommendation, which is this. I did not recognize that it happened until I was told by Beck, who watched this with me, that at one point during this movie, something that I don't remember ever happening before happened, which is that I yelled out loud in a theater. So that's as compelling of evidence that this is a good movie or a movie worth watching that I can offer you. That's about as good as it gets.
I don't want to like overhype it, but I did have to cover my eyes in one scene, which we'll get to. So there you go.
Medium loose.
Yeah, sounds like a medium to loose.
That sounds like a medium to loose right there.
Recommendation.
Yeah, we're somewhere in the middle on this one, as you can tell.
Yeah, go watch it if you want to. I don't care. Nobody cares. Yeah, we're going to be spoiling the shit out of this brand new movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Rob, did you get out your pad and paper in the theater, your little headlamp, and write us up a plot synopsis?
No.
Got your caving headlamp.
I waited till I got home.
Looking like
to
one of the
do
girls
it.
in The Descent over there in the corner of the theater.
I'm going spelunking, dog. That is my way. Yeah, I got the plot synopsis typed up here. It is maybe a little on the long side, so I apologize. I'll try and read quickly.
Oh, Bob, I'll just ignore you.
Boring.
Why don't you just go get another cup of coffee, take your morning deuce,
Just go take
and-
another morning deuce.
take your deuce of a morning deuce, and
My
come
deuce,
on back.
deuce, and
I got the deuce. All right, here we go. The plot synopsis for Bring Her Back.
We're going into Sublime here. What the fuck are we doing?
Hey, it's summertime. It's summertime.
Living's easy.
All right.
Go.
The movie opens up with some grainy footage of this bizarre ritualistic murder happening. Then we are introduced to siblings Piper and Andy. Piper's in high school. She's about 15 years old. She's vision impaired. She can still see lights and shapes, though. Her brother Andy is a few months away from turning 18. He's very protective of his sister. The two end up finding their father dead in the shower, and they're placed in a foster home with a single woman called Laura. Laura didn't really want to take Andy, who has a vague troubled history, but reluctantly allows him to come over with his sister. Once they arrive at the house, Laura's generally dismissive of Andy. She can't even bother to get his name right. She's immediately infatuated with Piper, though. Andy accidentally lets the cat outside, and he finds a young boy hurting the cat. Laura then introduces her other foster kid named Ollie. Laura explains her biological daughter, Kathy, who was also blind, drowned in the pool, and since that traumatic event, Ollie has chosen to be mute. Andy has a hard time adjusting to the new house. He's got a makeshift room where his door doesn't fully close. He wakes up each morning covered in his own drool and urine. Ollie is strangely confined to his bedroom most of the time. Laura doesn't like him to go outside. Laura eventually takes Piper and Andy to their father's funeral and puts Andy on blast for not looking at his father in the open casket. She then forces him to kiss his father goodbye because apparently it's customary. She then kisses his father's corpse on the lips and sneakily cuts off a bit of his hair. The three then get drunk at the house, and Laura tricks Andy into telling her his father was very abusive to him. Then Laura takes Piper shopping.
That's the drinking part. A little late.
It makes sense. Laura then takes Piper shopping. It's girls only, though, so Andy and Ollie are left in the house. Andy realizes Ollie is locked in his room. He gets him out so they can try and bond. Andy cuts out some cantaloupe, and Ollie starts eating the blade of the knife. Andy tries to take him...
knifey spoony before.
Not that way. Andy tries to take him to the hospital, but when they cross the mysterious giant white circle that goes all around the house, Andy starts convulsing and can suddenly speak. Sorry, Ollie can suddenly speak. Laura and Piper get home, and Laura rushes Ollie back inside. She shows him this weird videotape of a ritual and runs circles over his head, which seems to center him. She then feeds him the hair that she cut off Piper's dad's corpse. Andy finally takes a shower, which he's been avoiding since he found his dad dead in a shower. While in there, he sees the corpse of his father through the fog glass, and he hears him say, quote, "Piper will die in the rain." He then slips, hits his head, wakes up in the hospital. He's forced to stay there for a couple days against his will while they look him over. Laura visits him, and Andy begs her to keep Piper out of the rain because of what his father said. Laura then begins alluding to Andy's violent nature to Piper, and of course immediately takes her outside to dance in the rain. Laura also takes her into the locked shed out back. She shows her some of her dead daughter's belongings, like a nice sweater she used to wear. She then pops open the deep freeze and lets Piper touch the literal frozen corpse of her dead daughter. Laura tells her it's just some meat. Andy finally comes home. We realize that Laura has been pissing in a measuring cup and dumping it on Andy while he sleeps. She's also been going through his phone and deleting pictures he's taken around the house. Laura uses Andy's body spray to make herself smell like him. She then goes into Piper's room while she's sleeping and punches her in the eye. The next morning, Laura confronts Andy about Piper's black eye. He, of course, denies it. He then sees Ollie outside. Looks like he's covered in blood. The situation escalates from there. Andy punches a hole in the wall. Laura screams and plays the victim while Piper is manipulated into taking her side. Andy storms out, drives off to see Wendy, the woman who placed him and his sister into Laura's care. While there, he sees a flyer for a missing boy that looks exactly like Ollie. He shows Wendy and begs her to help. Wendy agrees, goes back to the house with him and checks things out. While Andy was out, Laura drops Piper off to play some sports ball. When she gets back to the house, she finds out that Ollie has tried eating just about everything in the house and has made a huge mess. She tells him it's not time yet. He bites her arm, then he starts eating the wooden countertop, breaking several teeth. He then starts eating his own arm. Laura takes him out to the shed and lets him start eating the frozen corpse of Kathy. Wendy and Andy get back to the house. Wendy goes inside. Laura has pretty much cleaned up the mess. Andy goes to investigate the shed. Of course, he sees Ollie eating a corpse. He yells for Wendy as she realizes Laura's bleeding profusely from her arm. Laura finally breaks and tells Wendy she's going to bring Kathy back. Wendy and Andy run out of the house, but Laura runs them over with a car, killing Wendy. She then drowns an injured Andy in the shallow puddle. She picks up Piper and... sorry. Laura finally... Damn. I'm skipping lines here.
Come on!
Drowns Andy in a puddle.
Please don't start.
She then picks up Piper and brings her back home. Piper hears Andy calling for her upstairs. When she walks up, she touches Andy's face, but it doesn't quite feel right. Also, the silhouette isn't quite right. Laura tells her it's just Ollie, who she's been told has thick, curly, red hair. At this point, she knows Laura's lying. She hides in the bathroom where she finds Andy's corpse. Laura gets the door open and tells Piper she's found a beautiful angel. She apparently put the angel in Ollie. Now the angel is going to put Kathy in Piper. She also tells Piper she's going to drown her in the pool. They brawl. Piper's knocked out. Laura drags her over to the pool. Ollie joins. Laura begins drowning Piper. She starts fighting back. Piper emerges from the water and cries out for her mom. This causes Laura to become extremely emotional, and she lets Piper get away. Ollie follows Piper all the way to the white line circling the house, where he sees the missing child flyer that Andy dropped with his face on it. He then decides to cross the line. He begins convulsing. Piper runs out of the road and is picked up by some good Samaritans. We see the cops arrive and search the house. They find Ollie, who seems to have turned back to a normal kid who can speak fine and, is normal considering he just ate a corpse. They also find Laura floating in the pool, holding what's left of Kathy's corpse, and then you roll those beautiful credits. There you go.
Just a real uplifting film all the way around.
Makes me hungry.
Got any AIDS?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Them
boys.
South Korean eggs.
It's one of those normal things you do, right? You introduce your newly not adopted your new foster child to a big frozen pile of meat in your freezer. That's just a normal
Just some
thing
meat.
people
Just,
do, right?
just touch it.
A little
Just
bit of
touch
Just some
it.
meat. I just want you to touch this meat. Is it so weird? Just touch the meat, okay?
Oh, God.
It's just
Dude, that scene,
meat.
dude, there's so many scenes in this where I was like, God damn, this is fucking brutal.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
yeah, the corpse of a small child. I mean, she's not like a young teenager, 13-year-old girl. And then, dude, fucking my boy Ollie, he's a hungry boy. He comes out with his little pot belly, dude. I was like,
Dude, is
God
that the
damn.
He's got a
scariest?
pregnant belly.
He's the scariest kid I can think of in a horror movie in a long fucking
Yeah,
time.
this is
He
a scary
spooky.
kid. And they do a good job where they blend in like the demon, sometimes. That was pretty cool element
Yeah.
that they worked in. And man, these guys, okay, so maybe it's appropriate. This is their second film, and now for the second time, they've done a really good job of building out this kind of world that's got these really interesting rules. It's like not so new that it's like I've never seen anything like this before, but it feels so refreshing and like clever that you've got this like ritual where you're gonna kill somebody in the same kind of way. And you also have to take another body and put the demon in that, and then the demon's gonna eat the dead body and then puke it back into the new body. But that's where the soul comes. It's like they're doing a pretty good job of making these kind of interesting horror rules and lore and worlds. I'm pretty
They
impressed.
take-
I'm not gonna lie.
They take subgenres that are like well worn and they invent something and inject them into them and like kind of make them their own in a really interesting way. Because like Talk to Me is kind of at the end of the day a possession movie
Yeah.
that deals with grief. And I think you could look at this as like I guess you could call it like a cult or like a ritual type movie that again
They're
deals
all
largely with grief, but
Yeah.
yeah.
making them
Oh,
their
that's
own.
like it's familial grief and that sort of thing. That's
Yeah.
kind of the through line of these two movies. But like what's interesting about both, but especially this one, is like all the different elements. Like you said, this is truly like like blends of existing materials, right? Because like you've got I thought of this movie as a little bit. I thought of A Dark Song a little bit while watching this,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
with the added twist where the mother is not necessarily your point of view hero character protagonist. It's she's quite the opposite of that. Your point of view characters are the people that are ultimately in her way of trying to get her daughter back the whole time, and she's fucking batshit. So there's that, like the puking into each other's mouths and that sort of shit. That's like there's like some Sam Raimi shit going on in the like nuts and bolts of how this, like the internal logic of how this works. There's a lot of like little like pulls from different areas that piece together really nicely. Like I think it's pretty good, and ultimately like it's in this really sleek package where the cinematography in this is pretty fucking good. The audio is really
Yeah.
fucking good. The like the what do you call it? Like not the signifiers of like the circle and all that stuff,
The
the way
circle,
things are
yeah.
shot, it's just really fucking cool. They did a great job with this sort of like with like each individual component. There's probably some nitpicks to find here, like things that like if you inspect a little closer, either don't make sense or I didn't catch everything to make it make sense. So I kind of feel like I need to watch it again. I'm kind of compelled to watch it again soon. Like I might go watch it in theaters
Oof,
again.
I don't know
I
if
don't
I
know.
want to watch it again soon, but there was I'm gonna think on it because there was one logical problem that I had, and I'm gonna try to think about it because I was like, oh well, that doesn't really make sense. But yeah, the cinematography. One thing, I mean, maybe if we want to, since you seem to be having trouble with maybe some potential critiques of this one, the cinematography was really good. Sometimes the editing confused me about timeline wise. Like sometimes I got confused about like where we were in time. Like there was this one specific time where I think Ollie is, or wait, no, no, not Ollie, Andy, goddamn, that's gonna be tricky. Andy is like in the hospital, and she's like, "Oh, you got a concussion," and he's like, "Oh, don't let Piper out in the rain." And then there's like this other cut, and then he's like not in the hospital anymore or something, or I don't know. A couple times it felt a little confusing to me about the cuts or whatever. But yeah,
I thought
generally
that
I thought the cinematography was pretty good.
I thought the edit was pretty clean
Oh, really?
generally. Yeah, I don't, not that I can remember. I don't think I was confused really by anything. It has this like, I listened to part of an interview with the Philippou brothers last week, and they mentioned having like ADHD, and I feel like that comes through in their
Could
edits.
see
Mhm.
that,
There's
yeah.
like there's like this. I think we talked about this a little bit when we were reviewing Talk to Me, how there's like this like energy, this like bubbling energy under the surface of the movie, even if it's like a slower moment, it just sort of like has this vibe to it. And I think it comes through in this movie too. And this is even slower than Talk to Me. It's not a slow movie, but it like is a little more simple, I guess you could say. But there's still this like boiling energy under the surface. And I think that the like the way they cut and edit the movie kind of helps that too. The way they do their sound design helps that. It just sort of like, I don't know, there's just like it feels like it's pummeling you even if it's like a slower beat, if that makes sense. I don't know if that like comes through because of their ADHD or because they come from YouTube and like you have to have things feel
Mhm.
snappy and quick, in your edits and on
I think
YouTube.
that does help. That part I think does help. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I see it exactly the same as what you're describing, but like I do think that there is a lot like the thing that keeps me on pins and needles with this movie that wasn't so much the case with Talk to Me is like the mystery of it and like how do these things all fit together, and like that's where like a lot of the confusion I had comes from, which is where you like what it's for. It's like leaving things sort of a little obliques, so you get to figure things out as your point of view characters do, you know. And I really appreciated that. Like, it was pretty clear from the title and from just meeting Sally Hawkins' character for like 1 minute what generally was happening, but I didn't know how Ollie fit in. I didn't know if was that really her kid, and he's got. Oh, is there a problem?
You're really bad.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Should I go off
robot
camera,
out pretty
maybe?
good.
You're like, yeah, you're really choppy. And like you have been a little choppy a couple times, so you might want to do a reset.
Shit. Okay. All right. I'll leave and come back, and I'll keep my camera off for the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
Just to lighten the load. All right. I'll be right back.
Am
See
I
if I
coming
can-
through okay, Bob?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. I'm gonna see if I can find like a good cut real quick.
Okay. How are we doing? Oh, let me turn my camera off.
Right now
Any better?
sounds fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Testing, testing, testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. Okay.
All right, I forgot what the fuck I was saying.
We
I was
were
talking about the
talking about
mystery, yes,
ADHD.
element.
The mystery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob
So
is looking
you
for
let
a
me know when
cut.
you're good,
Hang on.
Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fucking tech, man.
Damn. My boy Tech is a son of a bitch.
Oh, let me make sure my audio is shared still. Quick test.
Big old doinks.
Big old doinks.
Big old doinks.
Good.
So you were talking about Sally Hawkins and like the title and kind of what the movie was about, but you weren't sure how Ollie fit in necessarily. So if you
Okay.
want to just
Should I
kinda-
start right at the beginning of that part?
That's fine. Yeah, and I can cut it
Okay.
and make it make sense. Yeah, that's
Okay.
cool.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
hit
All right.
I'll hit record and give you the old thumbs up.
Deal.
Here we go.
I mean, it's pretty clear, I think, from the jump that Sally Hawkins' character, based on her character meeting her for like 5 minutes and just knowing the title of the movie or whatever, what generally this is working towards, but the nuts and bolts of how it works together, who Ollie is to her really, what his deal is, like all these things, like they do a good job of obfuscating what the true danger trigger points are in this. So like there's just a tension and a general malaise. I remember thinking in the theater, I'm not sure what Andy should do in this exact moment. I'm not sure what the most beneficial thing to him trying to prevent his sister from getting being hurt, because he didn't really know for sure. What, is everything okay?
You're still really bad.
Fuck.
Like really bad.
Jesus Christ.
Might have to do a reset or something.
All right, I guess I'll reboot my system entirely.
Okay.
And I'll try to come back from that. All right, give me 2 minutes.
Oh, Bob. Ugh.
Damn internet.
Damn, yeah, I just ran a speed test just to make sure everything's okay. But I mean, if I'm coming through okay, I should be fine.
Yeah,
My speed was fine, so
I haven't ran one, but if you can hear me.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you haven't had any problems for me.
I guess it's on Ray and Diesel's end.
Damn DC, they're throttling our internet.
It's like goddamn Republican Party, you know.
Wow. We're on recording here.
Oh, if you listen to this podcast and you can't pick up on it, that's on you, brother. That's
Oh,
on you.
we got an election tomorrow here in old Korea. It's a holiday. Imagine that.
I can't. I can't because I'm in the land of the free.
Yeah, a national holiday voting.
I got to use my vacation time to go vote, you know.
It is pretty well.
I don't actually, I think a lot of people do actually have to do that, but my employer lets you, if you can't
Yeah,
make it to the poll, they'll let you leave early to go vote.
yeah. Oh man. Oh. Oh. But they started early voting. I was at one of my students. I had to go to his office on Friday, and there's like a little community center right out in front. And there was like quite a long line, but like usually like tomorrow they'll open up some schools as voting places and stuff too. So I imagine like those couldn't be open for early voting because kids are actually in school. So
Learning, yeah.
yeah, I don't think it'll be as bad like on the actual day of voting. So
You gonna write me in or
oh yeah, my boy Bob is what I'm gonna write.
just Bob?
Bob, comma, my boy. I'm having to do that shit because we did the thing where we switch over my phone number, and in Korea they have these weird systems of like you have to have these like certificates. It's hard to explain.
All right.
But every time I have to put my name, my full name, but my last name, and then my two like first middle name, and then all capitals because they don't know how to deal with like English letters. So I have to like every time it's like capital, 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 capital.
All right.
Anyways,
Can you hear me okay?
so far so good.
So
I
far,
mean, you
yeah.
said three
Okay.
words, so
Well, I
I
don't know
know
what to
that's
do if it happens again because like I've
yeah.
turned
You
off
just
basically
can't
everything else on my system.
have long monologues.
I guess not.
You
That's
can,
gonna be a real fucking challenge.
I know.
A quick audio check here.
What's your profanity?
Hmm.
Okay, that came through. Okay. All right. Well, I think I was talking about Andy not knowing what Andy should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
All
just
right.
start from the top again because
Just
none of that.
Okay.
That was all trash.
I'll try and chop it up. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'll do the old thumbs
From
up.
Sally or from like the top?
Sally?
Sally.
You, you should do it from the top. Nothing you just
Okay.
said will be usable. So
Fucking hell, dude.
But it
That's
will be
not
on the behind
good.
the scenes, so that's
no.
what's
Well, it
important.
will be on the yeah. Yeah.
Whoopity dee. All three viewers will get to enjoy.
Well,
Um,
they're the true Hardwood us fans.
they
You know
are.
who you
God
are.
bless
You're
them.
watching right now.
Yep, you're not seeing my beautiful face, but I am
Uh,
smiling toward you.
you're good to
Okay.
go, Rand Diesel.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that kept me going in this movie was the mystery element because I feel like even though like the title is pretty telling about what this movie is going to be, 5 minutes with the character of Laura tells you a lot about what this movie is working towards. I feel like it does a really good job of obfuscating the nuts and bolts of how this works, like Colin Bird or whatever his character's name is.
Andy,
Um, and no.
Ollie.
Colin Bird is the Ollie. Thank you. Whoever like who he really is to Laura, what his deal is, like how this all fits together with what we saw in the cold open, all that stuff. It's really well obfuscated because the lore is not well established. They're not well established bits of lore. You know what I mean? And I really just like I
Yeah.
loved the journey of getting there. I wasn't sure what Andy should do half the time because I'm still trying to figure out what I would do. Like I have like that problem of like he's doing the stupid thing. That never happens because I never know what I would tell him to do in that situation.
Sally's like a great manipulator too. So like there's certain things that happen in the movie that you take at face value as true, but you find out later that she's just manipulating the hell out of these kids to meet
Mhm.
her own ends. Like that scene where she's pissing in a cup and like dumping it on Andy's crotch and
I was
like,
so pissed.
opening his eyes so that she can unlock his phone and delete all the pictures that he's taken. And when she like punches the shit out of Piper
My
in her
God,
eye when
dude.
she's
Mhm.
sleeping, there's just like so much fucked up stuff. She's like, she really reveals herself as a master manipulator to the point where, like, when the movie concluded, I reflected back on the opening scene where they find their dad dead in the shower, and I was like, She totally murdered their dad. She like poisoned him or something to like get at
Damn.
Piper. Because like, what are the chances of like her just being paired immediately with this girl, this young girl who's the perfect
blind.
age, who's also blind, just like her daughter was,
Well,
when she also worked at the agency that like matches people in foster care. Like she manipulated the whole situation to her own end. She's like a
I
master
mean,
manipulator.
I think that's possible, but I don't think so. I don't think that she did that. I think that her position and her friendliness with that organization allowed her to keep an eye out for the proper replacement kid, and that's what happened. But the proper replacement kid was somebody who came with an additional kid. She didn't bank on that. So like I think that if she really wanted the perfect kid, she would have not like dodged that bullet entirely, but instead she had this you're right though, like the manipulation is off the charts in this woman. Like it's very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was that was maybe one of the logic things I might have I like the scene and I like building her as a character was really good like when she punched that little girl. But then I was thinking to myself, she just sprayed herself with some fucking Axe body spray. And when
hell
this
yeah.
girl wakes up and is crying and is screaming,
Mhm.
wouldn't the first reaction like they do it okay. So yes, they do this cut where it's like the next morning and Andy strolls in like, oh, I just woke up and oh, what's going on? And it seems like
Mhm.
Sally is checking it out for the first time too, of like, oh, your eye. But this little girl wakes up in the middle of the night crying. Nobody's gonna come console her. And if they did, Sally would smell like the boy. She
Yeah.
The
would smell
boy,
like
yeah.
Well, I think
Andy.
that's why
So
she stayed
that
away.
does
Yeah.
it. Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just saying like that doesn't
Yeah.
really kind of make a logical sense. Like they do some of those things too, and and it's affected by the editing. So the next cut is like, oh, it's the next morning, and we're sorting this all out. But from a logical standpoint, that doesn't actually kind of make sense.
I mean,
When you
yes and
think
no.
about it.
Maybe she
I
was a
think there's a
heavy
lot of things.
sleeper or something, you know.
That's the thing. Well, I mean, clearly he is. That's the. The thing is, those are things that
Was
you
she
can point to and
drugging him though? Like,
I wasn't
Probably.
sure. It seemed like it, but they didn't show that. There's a lot of that sort of thing in this movie that I think you could point to and say, like, hey, that seems like a logical inconsistency. But I also think that they're like not necessarily, they're just not going out of their way to show us every detail of the plan, which might be to the benefit of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It
there's,
could be shown in a rewatch. Like maybe there's some hints or there's some
yeah.
more suggestive things that you don't really pick on because you're kind of like trying to figure out like you said, you're trying to figure out the lore, you're trying to figure out what the rules are. So there might be some kind of like hidden elements in here, but
But even if there's not, I kind of feel like like it's about the journey of these characters, and that we see things develop as things as they develop. Like we kind of see them through their eyes, through the two characters, the villain and Andy. Laura and Andy are kind of our point of view characters. So I kind of feel like things like that. Like I thought, like, well, why doesn't this little girl have any like memories of her mom or whatever? Like, there's things you can look at and be like, it seems like that should factor into her having a new mother figure type thing going on. Like, or it would come up. She yelled "mom" at the end, and that's what kind of broke Laura from her murderous way long enough for that whole situation to end. But we don't know anything about her relationship with her actual mother, her biological mother, that like apparently died a while back. It seems we don't know anything about that, and you could look at that and say like that seems like they underdeveloped that or whatever. But I kind of just think whatever it is, it just doesn't factor in too heavily. You know what I mean? Like I think that
mm,
like, I don't think that I want to think too hard about like, well, I screamed in the night and nobody came to answer. Andy didn't come and answer either. Like, he's her brother who was like desperate to protect her. He didn't go and check on her, even though he did wake up. We see him wake up too. Both of these characters are both reacting to her cry sitting there and quietly dealing with it themselves without going to help her. So I don't know. Like, I, I think that the bigger question, like if you're going to go that route of like the logical inconsistency of that, I would go further and say like, well, the fact that Andy doesn't go in there is a way bigger inconsistency to me.
well,
Like if you're going to
he
go that
apparently
way.
punched her in the face. That's what she thinks. So
yeah,
like
so that's what
he
she
wouldn't
Well,
go
yeah,
and
but
get
she wouldn't have
so
if he had immediately come and say, "Whoa, what happened?" Like, and then the smell of his Axe body spray would not be that
yeah.
confusing because he's
I
in the
think
room with her.
I think there's a lot of stuff that they don't explain, and you could definitely like rationalize away in a way that doesn't bother me. It doesn't feel
That's
underbaked
exactly
to
what I'm trying
me.
to get to. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
feels like there's a lot of logical stuff happening. Like she does, there's one scene where she like gets them absolutely shit hammered after their father's funeral. But like he wakes up every single morning drooling all over himself. It makes you think that like she's poisoning whatever food they're eating. Like she is, you can't trust a single thing that she does or says. Like there's no reason for her to try and make him kiss the corpse of his father other than for her own enjoyment. It doesn't help the ritual in any way. She takes the little like hair sample,
Well,
no
I don't
problem.
I thought that was to
I
make
don't
him more
know.
erratic, is my guess.
I thought
I
so
think
too,
it's
but then also she does it too. She's got to get the hair from it, and I thought maybe she was
yeah.
using that as like an excuse to like, well, if you do it, then I do it, and it's more normal if I explain it away, and that
He
maybe.
Kisses a corpse on the mouth.
I
dude.
know,
Like,
but these are like young, impressionable
That
kids,
is
and
not a
sometimes
ritual.
you don't
Yeah.
know until an adult tells you what's supposed to happen in some social. If you've never been to a funeral before, and there's no
Well, we don't know if
adult
she had
to
or
tell
not.
you, like, I don't know. That
Yeah.
doesn't bother
No,
me
I know what you're
much.
saying though. Like they are being guided.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
children.
Yeah, and
she is the adult figure,
manipulating them. Yeah,
and that
She's
she's
wearing-
using that to manipulate them.
she's
for
wearing
sure.
bright purple to the ceremony. It's just so violently disrespectful.
which
It's-
is also
Yeah,
a
she
thing
looks like
though
she's going to
too.
Sunday school. Like,
Yeah, maybe, and that scene too is a little strange. I don't know how. Maybe I'm starting to pick apart. So I really liked this movie when I watched it, but I just finished it, and like maybe these little details of. So her reputation is that she's, at least from the social worker. Oh, she worked here. She was our best client, or I mean, our best
She worked there for like
counselor.
20 years.
Worked there
yeah.
for 20 years, seemed to be a loving mother. The death of her daughter was a mistake, and yes, that breaks people and makes people go crazy, but some of these things make it seem like she's a more sadistic person. So things to do the ritual, you can like, explain away as to like she's completely driven by grief to achieve these things. So she will push the boundaries of abducting this other child
good
and doing
taste,
these
yeah.
things, but there's no reason for her to be so sadistic. It doesn't seem like she was a sadistic person. It doesn't seem like she was a psychotic person. So why would she do these things just to fuck with this boy? Why would she wear, who would wear bright purple to a funeral? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
I think she's like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it seems like she has. So her daughter died, and there's a moment where she's talking to Andy about his father, and she says like some people think I'm gonna abbreviate the quote. She says like some people think the soul remains in the body for X number of days, X number of time after they die. So it seems like like death to her isn't really death. So like she probably still thinks the soul of his father is in the body, and maybe she does want him to like actually say goodbye. She definitely believes the soul of her daughter is still in the frozen corpse of her daughter, because that's how
She
the whole
thinks,
thing
yeah,
works.
that she needs to believe that because that is what she's been working to. That's what she had abducted a child for. So like she has to believe that on some level, and also she is both herself an erratic, broken person and trying to frame another character, Andy, as the erratic, broken person so that he gets taken out of the picture. I think there's an argument to be made that like trying to get him to do that, manipulating him into like kissing his dead father or whatever, or like trying like putting all these things, like it's just to push him further and further down the road towards
She is trying to
being
separate
an
the
unstable
kids.
person
Sure,
himself. She's
sure.
trying to separate them. So I think there's
For
an
sure.
argument to be made for that. That's what I took it as.
Which also could be a bad logic on her part, because ultimately she does have these children in her care. And if her whole plan is she's got to kill the little girl anyways to get her daughter back, well, then wouldn't it be good to have, I mean, she's a master manipulator. Wouldn't it be good for her to have somebody to pin it on, to blame him for the murder of his sister instead of getting him out
Well,
of the
she's not
picture?
going to die if her
She
plan comes
comes
to
back.
fruition.
Yeah.
Kathy is now in that body, and so as far as anybody who's looking can tell, it's the
okay,
same
I
girl.
guess that. Well,
Yeah.
no. Don't they come back in their own body?
No.
because their body's
Oh
eaten,
yeah,
dude.
she said put it
Yeah.
into. I was a little bit confused about which body was eaten. Okay.
Yeah, the
Well,
freshly
it's the-
drowned corpse comes back.
okay, the freshly
drowned.
dead
Yeah.
corpse is the one that lives on in the thing. Okay,
with
okay,
with the
okay.
other person's soul
Yeah.
replacing the
Yeah.
Okay,
It gets
so
like
that-
vomited
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
new,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
new
Yeah,
body.
I knew because they showed in the videotape, but it's
Yeah.
all the way that it's
Yeah.
cut.
It's
is
hard. Yeah,
That
it's
tape
hard
is
to
hard to
know
understand intentionally,
exactly,
for sure.
which is why I was wondering though. I mean, okay, she does has to keep the. See, I did get confused about that, which again I think is an editing problem because I was thinking she fucked up by letting Ollie in the thing because it started to eat her face. And I thought that that was a mistake because I was like, well, now
Mhm.
this girl's going to come back to life and half of her face is going to be eaten off because
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
no.
thinking that she needed to preserve the body as much as possible because it was going to come back, that the body
Yeah.
of the
No.
freshly dead one was going to be eaten by the demon. And okay.
I think she's
But
trying
you're
to
right,
preserve
she
the
does
soul,
say
and
she does
also
say he's gonna put my Kathy into you. She
into
says
you,
it to
yeah,
the little
right.
girl. Okay, yeah. Okay.
I think she's trying to keep the body from rotting and preserve the soul, and she also
Yeah,
just doesn't want
okay.
Ollie to eat her too soon until she has everything lined up.
Sure.
We don't really
Okay.
know the timeline of when Kathy died versus when she
Yeah,
takes these
that's-
kids in either.
Mm.
So like she may
Could
have
have
been
been
there for a
like
long time. Like
years.
Beck and I talked about this, and it's like one of the things you could point to and say that's an inconsistency or that's unexplained is why she even has this body. Like this is not something you don't just keep a body. Like
Yeah,
everybody
nobody
knows her
lets you
daughter's
just keep a
passed.
body,
Nobody's
yeah.
confused
I
about
guess
that.
they
So like she must have dug it back up or something.
buried
Like,
an
but
empty
we just don't
casket, or
need to see that.
was she
Renfield
part?
moment.
Was she part of a cult before, or did she like after
I-
she lost her daughter? She kind of went, off the deep end and trying to find a way to cope, and bought these tapes on eBay, or
That's
like
how
where do
I
you
took
get
No,
it.
I
yeah.
think she
tapes,
I think she got access to those tapes by way of her job. She's helping kids who have been abused and stuff. If somebody finds these tapes, there's not a completely unreasonable chance that she has access to these like
and
criminal
decides to
horrible
try it for herself, kind of thing.
and it's just like
Yeah.
she gets engrossed by it, gets entranced because it is a way to bring her back. Period.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, those kind of things didn't really bother me either because it's really the core of it was about the idea she's, no matter what, she is a grieving mother
Mhm.
who's searching for any possible way to have her daughter back. That's all that matters. It doesn't how she got the tapes or anyway, that doesn't matter. So I
Right.
didn't get the impression that she was a part of a cult before, but also too, yeah, just the thing with the daughter too, the two girls, I thought that they did a really good job. Again, okay, tying it back to kind of like the idea of talk to me, talk with me, talk to me, talk
To me, yeah.
yeah, talk to me.
Talk at me.
Talk at me, boy.
That's his
Was that the young people, the young factor, of like speaking kind of naturally and
The kids.
feeling like a real kind of connection and feeling like you just kind of able to fall into it. And I thought that they captured that again here, the relationship between the girl and the brother I thought was good, and their little grapefruit thing that they had, and even like the airplane at the end, like these just like little connections that they had. And so it made it like so much more brutal. Kind of like when she drowns him, she just twists his head over in the thing, and it's like, and then the girl when she's exploring like his face and she can feel his braces, like dude, that's just fucking brutal.
Rough,
It's
but you
heartbreaking
because these kids feel so authentic. It feels that much fucking worse, and kind of like what Randy was saying earlier is you feel so bad for the brother too, because you're like, what the fuck do you do? And I actually thought that they did in a very nice, subtle way. They tapped into some things of like the boy. We do a lot of things talking about, victims, rape victims, sexually assaulted, like not believing them or whatever. But within this system of like foster kids, this boy is like an older boy, 17,
He's got
almost
a history.
18, he's working out. She blames like steroids and stuff, and he's like, I'm just taking like creatine, like a protein or whatever powder. She's like, and the way that she twists that of the girl's blind, I thought they used that a lot, like really well too, where she starts screaming and she's like blaming everything on him in that way, and he's like just nobody wants to believe him because he's the troubled teen whose
On
dad just
paper, he is,
died.
yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I thought that they played that up really well too.
They
Yeah.
did that
It
so well. Sorry, bud.
it
Go ahead.
it turns out that he was abused by his father, and when
Mhm.
that nugget was revealed, I also thought, I was like, wait, did he kill his dad? I mean, maybe his dad did just slip in the shower and I'm putting too much thought into it, but I was like, damn, did he kill his dad? And then at the end of the movie, I was like, no, it was definitely Laura killed his dad. But maybe he just slipped in the shower. Who knows? But yeah, you don't want to believe this kid. Everybody's set up to not believe this kid. And I think a really smart decision in this movie, like when it first started, I was like, why is this why is Piper blind? I don't really get it. But it makes it that much easier for Laura to manipulate her
Absolutely.
and like point the blame on her brother because like they're so close. You really feel that connection, but it's just like too easy for her to manipulate this poor girl, this teenage girl who
Well,
like can't really see or has limited sight, you know. And they use
I
that
think
to great effect, I think.
maybe the like most impressive manipulation she does to me is when she reveals about his father in front of Piper, or like there's some moment, actually I don't know if it's quite that moment, but there's a moment
It's
in which
after
she said,
hit her. It's after she hit
no,
her.
no. Well, I mean, it's where he's like, he says grape. She says grapefruit, and he still lies. Oh, it was when we were looking at the corpse, and he
Looking at
lied
the
about he
yeah,
looks good, and she's like, "Why didn't you look at your father?" He's like, "You didn't
Oh,
look."
oh,
he
oh.
gets
Like breaking
outed.
that,
Yeah,
that is the
I
first
gotcha.
moment of
Yeah.
a break in trust.
yeah.
And to me, I was like, I saw that as it was happening. I was like, "Oh fuck, this woman is
Mm.
diabolical."
Yeah, she's
Like
starting
before
to.
that, they were inseparable. This lady was the outsider, and all of a sudden, the tables are not reversed entirely, but they are evened. You still your brother is now not a reliable narrator to you, just like this new woman might not be. So like I think that was pretty great. um
Mhm.
I don't know, like she's very very good at this stuff. I don't think she's like a master manipulator or whatever necessarily, in terms of like well enough to like kill the father or whatever. I think that that's just like something that happened. She's an opportunist as well, and she uses that to or that leverage through her job or whatever. But I don't know. I just was really like darkly impressed with the lengths to which she goes, and how she uses her lack of sight, uses their his unwillingness to show her the darkness in the world. I think she senses that in him. I think she actually sees him as a good person once she gets to know him a little bit, and uses that to break them up, to break the set, you know? And that's just like, that's, I don't know, man. That's a deep level of manipulation that you don't see every day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think she's maybe not a master manipulator, but a very good one. Like that, as soon as Andy sets foot in the house, like she doesn't even really look at him. She doesn't know his name. Like
He's in a
it's
closet. Like he's fucking Harry
yeah,
Potter in this movie.
yeah, he really is. I gotta say that the introduction of Ollie though, when he's standing in the
Dude, in the
pool,
with the
like
cat. Oh my
torturing a
God, dude.
cat, the
Yeah,
the
dude.
it's fucking brutal. The imagery of this movie is just like everything being centered around the pool. It is constantly raining. The
Yeah.
giant circles surrounding the house, the like overhead drone shots. It just
Hmm.
the movie looks beautiful. It really
If you
does.
look, and I was looking because like the first time I saw this, or rather the second time I saw the big circle and like perfectly framed, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a thing throughout the movie. And bloody, it is like every
Yeah.
other scene.
Mm.
There's
Yeah,
like
the
a shot from inside
rain.
a washing machine. There's like the very end, the pan out shot from inside the pool, where inside that triangle you have this weird, like I guess it's a dip in the pool, but it's a circular tile
Yeah.
shape anyway. Like everything exists within this circle, and I don't know, like I haven't dug deep enough to figure out like exactly like all of the thematic things associated with that. But I mean, it's just from a cinematography standpoint or whatever, from like a visual resonance standpoint, it is just so fucking delicious to see done that way. It's
Damn.
fucking great. It's just
Uh,
good filmmaking,
well,
man. It's
even
very like
yeah,
it's easy to
Yeah.
clock. It's in it, and it's like it makes everything harken back to itself. It's self-referential, and I don't know. I just really appreciate that sort of thing.
but again, so I think again talking about the brutality of this movie, and you just mentioning like the pool shot, that I was okay. tying in the emotional weight to the brutality, I think makes this movie hit, of course, even harder. It's not just showing you really fucked up things. They're tied to some really like emotional weight in a lot of ways. Like, so like the woman holding the corpse of her dead child whose face is half eaten off in the pool is like the closing shot. It's like, dude, that's fucking brutal. And then also too, man, dude, that kid chewing on the fucking wood and his
And the
fucking
knife.
teeth
I had to cover my
breaking.
eyes, dude.
Dude, and
I
That was
then
that was the one, the wood.
Yeah,
that was the one. I
one.
mean, the knife
Yeah.
too, but I mean, yeah, the wood, dude. Oh, and the way his
The
teeth are
wood.
left, like that's such a smart idea, but also too, it hits even harder because at the end of the movie, he's like back to being a regular
I
kid,
know.
kind of. It's like, what the fuck? And then,
Yeah.
and like I said before, of her just all of a sudden hitting them bitches with her car and like just tilting that
That's the part
dude's
I
face
yelled.
over into the
Mhm.
fucking puddle.
Mhm.
And
At that moment,
oh,
I was like,
dude.
shit, is she gonna pivot and try and use his dead
I thought
drowned
that
body?
too, because he drowning him. I thought
Yeah.
like she's run away or like she's not available. I felt like maybe Ollie like he was chewing on that table. She had to introduce him to Kathy and get that process started. So like today's the day. It's got to happen now. Fucking Piper's away.
Yeah.
This kid is now my best chance, and I can drown him in this puddle and make this happen right now. I thought that was going to
Yeah.
happen as well, but she got back or whatever. But like, let me say that when the car hit fucking what's her name,
Wendy,
the,
yeah.
the lime green lady, buddy. I yelped. Apparently, I was like, that. My American brain was like, oh, here she comes with like a handgun to hold them captive or some shit. Nope, she is running that bitch down all the way down. It was rough.
Brutal
Yeah.
shit.
And then
Yeah.
like the one that really sticks with me as far as visceral pain thing was Ollie chewing on his hand and then pulling up tendons
Dude,
or
oh my
skin or
God.
something.
Oh, with the fucked up teeth.
It was
Dude, it's, oh my God.
ungodly shit.
Because he bit her too. So he like bit the
He
shit out of
did,
her
yeah.
arm. And then I think he
Mhm.
starts chewing the wood. And then, yeah, he's just fucking ripping his arm off. And then
Yeah,
he
if she-
starts eating the corpse. It's like, what
Dude,
the fuck, dude?
The second thing that I had to look away was like after he's like eaten a bunch of the corpse's face and the eyes and what they do like a really like what felt like a forever lingering shot on what's left of the corpse.
Oh my
Couldn't look at it.
Oh
Couldn't
my
do it.
God,
Oh, really?
dude.
Couldn't handle it.
I didn't have a
no.
big problem like that, like watching it. It was brutal. Don't get me wrong, but like it's the visceral thing of like a living person pulling things out of themselves or whatever. That shit was rough.
Whew.
That shit's rough.
But
Its
yeah,
movie has
but
a
I mean,
lot
but
of
it,
that.
yeah, it had a lot. But I mean, tying it to this kid too, you know, that's a thing.
Mhm.
There was a couple things I saw some influences when that kid is bloodied up around that time. I don't remember exactly when. I think it's after he's eating a bunch of shit in the kitchen. He's got some blood on him already, but it reminded me of I had this quick flash to that VHS segment where with the cult and the dude is like covered in blood and he's in his underwear and he like walks forward. There was a couple times in this where like there would be flashes of these other horror moments. There's like some definitely I've seen a lot of people, you know, compare this to Hereditary. There's definitely I think some Hereditary kind of inspired moments in here, but every now and then I would just get these flashes of some like other bigger horror moments and be like, yeah, I don't know if they were directly pulled in, but it just kind of reminded me of something, like even just like using the VHS tape at the beginning or the way it was filmed and her kind of like watching the screens and stuff. Yeah, I don't know, there seemed to be some inspired moments in here. It seemed like
Did
For
you get
sure,
any
man. Like,
Gretel and Hansel vibes from this?
I still haven't seen
I
that.
haven't seen that movie. Yeah.
I just mean from the fairy tale. Like they're you know
Oh.
they take these kids in and one of them
Sure.
gets like
Yeah,
I didn't
fattened
think
I
about
up.
guess
it.
so. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her whole thing, yeah, she's a witch. She wants to eat. I didn't think about that at
Yeah.
all. But yeah, I mean,
Dude,
I
when
guess
Ollie
that's
walked out with that pot belly, I was like,
dude, that
damn,
belly, dude.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
that
that.
And his
This
skin is
bitch
like
is
kind
9
of
months along. Ugh.
gray, and his fucking eyes are red and
He reminded
bulging and
me,
shit, dude.
Juice. You'll know this, but like towards the end of the game Shadow of the Colossus, he reminded me of. You know what I'm saying? I
As
don't want
he
to say too
gets
much because it's a little bit
possessed
of
more
a
and more,
spoiler.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess it's fine. But yeah, like it's that
That game's
gray,
older
and
shit.
I almost to the point when his head starts bulging in a way that I almost he was being seen. When Andy saw him through the window and he was about
Yeah.
like right before the punch in the wall, it looked almost like he had horns to me.
It did.
Like,
I
was
think they did
genuinely
that on
did.
thinking,
purpose. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
good.
Like the
I
demon
wasn't sure if I
bleeding
imagined
through
that.
was cool. Yeah, I liked how they kind of
Mhm.
did that. Wasn't there
It's
another
good
moment
shit.
too where like the demon kind of bleeds through?
Well, the
Yeah,
eyes kept bleeding
the
over, which
the
definitely
mirror.
The
indicating.
mirror, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
mirror when it breaks. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
The one
There's
thing,
some
you know
good
what
shit,
though?
man.
What do y'all think about this? The dad saying like, "Oh, Piper's gonna
I was gonna bring
die
this
in the
up.
rain or
This is the one where
whatever."
if
Yeah,
if I was going to go on a plot hole quest, that would be my number one stop. Where I'm like, okay,
yeah,
so why is this happening? Is this
yeah,
supernatural? And if not, how does he have that information?
yeah.
So
Which I mean, I guess she doesn't die in the rain. To be fair, so
No, but it's
well,
still a
no.
warning
I
to that
I think it's a
effect.
warning of like, yeah,
sure.
Laura's gonna try and drown her. So she takes the hair that she cuts off the dad's corpse and feeds it to Ollie. And Ollie, I
Mhm.
guess, is able to like channel the
The
spirit of
death,
the
yeah.
dad. And the dad
That's an interesting
tries to
theory, sure.
warn his kids, but it does make you wonder why Laura would do that at all.
Like
I'm
the
not
hair.
sure.
Why is the feeding the hair important? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
maybe the demon
maybe it's
and
part of the
Ollie
ritual.
needed to be satiated by something, and that like held him over a little longer.
Maybe that's piece of like a spirit,
I
a
wondered.
soul or something.
Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe it's just a recently dead corpse he can eat to sustain him. Maybe
Could
I
be.
also thought that maybe that and like we see later, especially him using Andy's voice, and I thought that was after
Yeah,
Andy had
yeah.
recently passed, and
That's
I had
true.
made the connection. I thought maybe like eating part of the person allows that to happen, allows them to inhabit it in some
Can
way,
That's a good
mimic
call.
them
and
or
Yeah.
manipulate
whatever.
their memory in some way.
That was a
Yeah.
cool element too, where it's speaking from his voice. She goes in, she like feels
His
his
head,
head
yeah.
and shit. What the fuck,
Thick
dude?
curly
I
red
knew that I was
hair.
like,
She's like, nah, nah.
dude,
Bro,
fucking.
nah, bro.
Beck looked this up, and like the girl Sora Wong is the girl who played Piper, and maybe this is part of the trivia, but like I want to shout it out because it was good. Like this is the first acting role she's ever done professionally. She was brought on like
Pretty
through an
good.
open casting call, and I like not the strongest actor in the mix, but certainly a strong actress, and like I would not have guessed, that she had never portrayed anything before on
For
screen.
sure.
It was really well done. And I don't know, like there's some strong work being done on every level here on a craft level, and you can like I kind of feel like I'm giving up something if I'm like start looking at things for plot holes. You know what I mean? It's a cinema sins thinking sort of thing. We're like, this is too good to
Yeah.
get all up in the weeds about little things that ultimately the story isn't about how the ritual works. The story is about these people and how their lives are torn asunder and how they cope with it or don't, you know? So I don't know, man. I really, really like this
I
movie,
feel
and it
like the
sounds like maybe.
filmmakers have the answers. They don't feel like you don't
I
need them
agree.
all though. So like they have them, they
Exactly.
show you what you need, and
I'm sure
that's
there's a
it, you
Bible
know.
for them that they
I
have
think
that you can refer
so.
to, like how
Yeah.
this works. But like, yeah, the exact nuts and bolts can be left and somewhat up to interpretation because A, that makes for interesting conversation, and B, it's not what's the most important thing. And I think that like it toes that line so perfectly because so many movies try like do that stuff, and people just zone right in on like why it doesn't make sense now. It doesn't make sense because they didn't explain what happened to the mom. It doesn't make sense because the dad shows up. Why did that like you can
They
really, really get in the weeds with that stuff, and it just ruins the movie to
They
do
do
that.
the same thing with Talk to Me. I think we mentioned that in our review too, where like we understand the rules of the hand as well as the kids understand, but this thing is ancient and
Yeah.
cursed. And what do these kids really know? Nothing. You know, we're just experiencing this the same way they are. And
Right.
you know, same to this movie. You know, like we know what we know. Is it fully correct? Probably not. But like that makes the movie even more interesting. I do think the filmmakers have it figured out, but it's not to their benefit to like spoon feed us every single piece of information.
Sure.
And I'm glad they don't.
Complete agreement.
So well done, Philippou
Yeah.
Brothers. Well done.
They
Any other
avoided the
points you want to
sophomore
hit
slump.
before we rate this thing?
No,
No.
I think
I
I'm
think
good.
All right, let's do
it's
it.
playing on the ground.
Rand Diesel, out of 5. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I think we all do about this film. Like it's definitely a pretty high contender for the year at this point. Like you said, it's things finally feel like they're starting to pick up some temperature in the releases this year. Excuse me. I think this I you know a first breakout hit of a horror movie is not that uncommon, but it a lot less common is a almost as good or almost as equivalent sophomore film.
I know that's
So
putting
like
you in the ranks of like Ari Aster and fucking Eggers
Bobby Eggies.
Yeah.
and
Bobby Eggs.
and Nope. Oh my God, Jordan Peele.
Your boy Nope.
My boy Nope.
Leslie Nope. No,
Leslie Nope making horror films is a really
Your boy
funny-
Get Out.
My boy
to
Get
make
Out.
two movies that impress me this much like in sequence like this is very 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 it's pretty unheard of. Like it's pretty rare. I gotta hand it to these guys. They know what they're doing. It's crazy to me that like we talked about like YouTubers turned filmmakers during Milk and Cereal and how I am ingratiated to the get up and go ness of that. Of people that just like go out, try it, do it DIY style, and make it happen. These guys, I think, cut their teeth so much doing this sort of doing their channel that they just found a voice, like almost fully formed. By the time they got to make a feature, and they got the funding to back it up, and then they got the fucking accolades to back it up, and now they've got the fucking secondary, like the follow-up film to back it up. It's tough to deny talent when you see it like that. I just really like this fucking movie, though. Ultimately, like I think it's really smartly done. It really makes me feel a way about fucking Sally Hawkins' character. Laura is an absolute monster, but also understandable because it's all centered on the grief aspect. Everybody in this movie is grieving, and they all handle it differently. I don't know, man. I'm spinning out here just trying to come up with the words to explain basically that I like this movie a whole lot. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I want to give it room to grow or room to falter as time goes on, because it's so fresh. But, buddy, this is a fucking solid entry into 2025.
Right.
Yeah.
4.5 from Rand Diesel. Juice, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. It's hard not to compare it to Talk to Me in ways of like, oh, it's a follow-up film and stuff like that. And there's some similar elements to it. So if I'm like kind of judging by that factor, I think some of the not necessarily problems, but like kind of nitpicks I have or I think that shines through a little bit more when I'm looking at this film when it's sitting next to when it's sitting next to Talk to Me. So, in the same kind of way of like The Lighthouse and The Witch and stuff like that, you're gonna compare some things in that aspects. But so in that way, I mean, I think I would be much more likely to watch Talk to Me more because at least it does have some comedic beats. Like this movie is so bleak through and through, which isn't not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it very much is kind of like Hereditary in that kind of way of just so fucking brutal and sad. Not just brutal, it's fucking sad. The loss of a child, people grieving, not being able to deal with that grief, trying to look after someone that you love and feeling powerless and being manipulated, being like so clearly manipulated, and like it's all just like such a bleak heavy watch. I do. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about, and maybe there's some explanation like, oh, he ate the hair, so the dad's spirit is like in the house. I wasn't crazy about like the dad in the mirror, and I think there was some like some of the editing kind of like bothered me a little bit. Mostly, I would say it was like really good. Some good editing was like when the little. The original daughter was like walking toward the shed, and then they cut to the foster daughter kind of like turning around or whatever. Like those were some good cuts, and the rain forming the circle, and like there was good editing too, but some of the editing bothered me a little bit. I don't think it was perfect, or I think some of like the quick paceness of it sometimes just like got me confused, or stuff like that. But yeah, generally, I'm impressed by the lore. I'm impressed by these rules that they've created. The cinematography, like the shots were really beautiful and looked really good. Sally, I always want to say Sally Fields, and I always have to, it's not fucking Sally Fields. Sally Hawkins did an amazing job. Like that character, it's so fun to hate, and you can see why like the daughter loves her, and you can see why the son hates her, and like why people would believe her, but at the same time you're like, you fucking bitch, I'm gonna hurt your ass. But then at the same time too, she's like, you feel bad for her sometimes too, so fucking daughter's dead. So yeah, I mean, this movie's kind of a roller coaster, man, but it's just a bleak roller coaster. It's fucking bleak as shit.
One of them bleak roller coasters.
But it's good.
Everybody
It's
loves to
good.
ride.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't have enough solid to like really ding it. I'll put it at a 4.52. It's good watch. Good watch.
One thing that I should have brought up when you said, is there any other points you wanted to hammer? Which is just not even hammer, just like one thing I wanted to point out that like I think is just smart was introducing Laura and immediately showing that she has a stuffed dog, showing that she has a real problem letting go.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a good.
Yeah, it was a nice touch for sure.
I just really I appreciated that.
Good point. All right, Bob, out of 5. What are you gonna do? Wait, bring her back. I'm getting all these titles confused.
Bring
her to me
back. This is definitely like the feel bad horror movie of the summer. This movie does feel like a summer movie because it's like so pool centric and it's just constantly raining. Like it just, I don't know, it has that summer vibe, but it's just so goddamn bleak. I don't think there's one scene in this movie that has like the sun shining, you know? It's like it's so heavy. I think it's just generally extremely effective. I think what the Philippou brothers are trying to accomplish here, I think they just nail. I really do. I love how they take these well-known subgenres and just completely invent something and inject it into that subgenre and like make it their own. It is so difficult to do, but it's really exciting, and they do it like so effectively, and it feels so fresh. And the way they cast and write and edit their movies feels so fresh and like I don't know, man. There's just this energy, like I mentioned, that I think just is throughout both of their movies so far that just it's really exciting to me. They are among a very select few of group of people that are making horror movies that have no levity. It's just dread through and through. And like that's definitely not for everybody, but that definitely has its place in horror. And I'm glad somebody out there is really, really fucking doing it. They are Ari Aster to a degree. Seems like he's kind of getting away from horror a little bit. Robert Eggers is definitely doing it. Seems like he's mostly staying on track with it. Other than those dudes, maybe I don't know who else I would even say necessarily. Like it's just Jordan Peele, yeah, but he does
There's
have
a lot
some
more
levity.
in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got some like some really funny moments actually. Coming from comedy, he's a funny dude. But yeah, like there's not a whole lot of people doing that is my point, and I'm glad that somebody out there is doing it. This does have like the sort of like a lot of people complain about this. This is not a problem for me personally, but a lot of people complain about like, oh, grief is the monster, and we've seen that so much, and grief porn or whatever. We're getting tired of it. Like
It's
that's just kind of
elevated, Bob. Okay.
that's what horror is. Well, the thing about it is like I don't think anybody would ever watch this movie and say it's elevated horror because it is so nasty. It's too nasty.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
think they
think
might.
so.
So.
I mean, fucking
Really?
Hereditary has ladies
Hereditary, yeah, has a-
sawing their own heads off. So-
And
I think
a
people-
little girl's head knocked off with ants crawling all over the top of it.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody call that elevated horror. Maybe somebody has.
Oh, I
Oh,
definitely
really?
think
Yeah,
they
I
have.
Yeah.
would think that
Yeah.
would fit in the category.
You missed
I
it,
would think
then.
so.
I don't know.
Okay, well maybe
Anyway,
I'm off base with that.
but
Maybe.
Well,
You're
no,
off
I think that there's something.
base.
There is like I'm a little tired
Even
of
the
grief
witch
being
has
like,
like a little baby being ground up into.
Yeah, but you don't
paste.
see it. It's
I
like
know.
I
Well,
think
not
that's
okay, not that
enough for
clear.
me.
Yeah, okay.
not really.
You see enough for me, but like
No,
real
Bob.
quick, like
I
that,
let-
that whole
oh.
Rob,
Rob.
sit down for a second.
Tell me
No,
why
I
I'm
was
wrong.
gonna let Bob continue.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
No, I was gonna agree with you. Like I'm one of those people that's a little tired of grief being like the only drum that gets this sort of like this sort of reception where people are like gushing over it. I'm curious to see. I just want to say I'm curious to see what the Philippou brothers will do if they're not relying on that particular kind of baggage a character coming in on the weakest moment of their life because of grief. You know
Get
what I mean?
over your grief.
It's a little bit
Philip.
harder.
Right.
I just think I think it is like an easier. It's an understandable, simple access point that they take advantage of.
I think, well, I take advantage. Who knows what experiences they've had? Maybe they're working through some stuff, and I think a lot of people do that
Not a negative.
in their art. Yeah, and I think
smart.
people that complain about that, I think maybe just don't watch a ton of horror. I think
Maybe they're
surface.
not. Maybe they're posers.
Maybe
That's what
they're
you're
They're
saying.
not hard with me. I'll tell you.
I don't know. Just thinking of my favorite.
I don't like
My favorite like 4 or 5 horror movies of the year. Like this is the only like grief movie. Anyway, I liked this movie for that. I'm not trying to ding it for that at all. I really dig how brutal this movie is. Like Ollie is the creepiest kid I've seen in a movie in a really long time. And like probably over a decade, honestly. When he starts eating that knife, when he starts eating the counter, dude, it's just fucking when he starts eating the corpse. Every time this kid is eating something, I can't fucking deal with it. The manipulation on Sally Hawkins' end is just like masterful. I think the casting of her in this movie is just like perfect. The movie would truly fall apart if they found a kid actor that was not as good as Ollie. The movie would completely crumble. That kid kills it. It's so believable. The things that he's doing is so believable. It's amazing. This is just generally how you do a haunted pool movie. Like the pool itself is not haunted. Like that. I can't even remember the name of that haunted pool
Yeah,
movie.
me neither. I was just
Night Swim?
Night
Was it
Swim.
Night
yeah,
Swim,
Night
yeah.
Swim.
I almost said
Shallow
swim
End,
fan. That's not
Deep End,
it.
Get Wet,
That's
Above
another movie,
Ground, Get Deep, whatever. I think it's Night
Get
Swim.
Deep,
I
Get
think
Wet.
it was Get Wet. Get deep,
Get
run
Deep, Get
run
Wet. The haunted pool movie everybody knows and
That's
loves.
the straight chilling haunted pool movie right there.
Get
Get
deep,
deep,
get
get wet.
Coming to you this
in
July.
that order.
Shot in Florida, baby. Shot in
Oh,
Bob's
God.
backyard.
It's a real weird
Honey,
documentary.
you've got a big storm coming.
Bob,
Ain't that
I'm
the
bringing the
truth?
film crew over.
I love how they just let you sit with this movie for like half the runtime or more even trying to like figure out exactly what's going on. Based on the title that like, she's going to try and bring her kid back, but you have no idea how. You don't know how Ollie plays into it, what the fuck this kid is up to, like what's going on, what these tapes mean. Is she in a cult? Like what is going on? They just really let you just sit with it and ponder and like try and connect the dots. They don't spoon feed you shit, which is really, really nice and refreshing.
Connect in the docks.
You can't connect the dots. Let me connect my own docs, okay?
These are my docks, damn it.
So yeah, I could go on and on. I don't think this is quite as good as Talk to Me. I think I say that largely because it's like just so brutal. Like I do want to rewatch it, but like not for a while. So if I had to stack them, which I don't, but I think I do prefer Talk to Me just slightly more than this. But I'm gonna give this a 4.25 out of 5 with room to grow.
Hmm.
Really great movie. That's gonna put our aggregate at a 4.4. And
I
let's go
had
ahead and
one
jump
more note.
over.
I had one more
Oh,
note that I
okay,
forgot.
okay.
This is a positive and a negative because I want to mention one more editing problem I had, but also one really cool element, which makes it keep going back and forth. The sport that the girl plays, I thought that
Mhm.
was really interesting for them to tie that in just because I
Yeah.
found it quite interesting. Like just
Mhm.
how it's played with the bells
It's
and the
legitimate.
ball. And so it's like really cool. However, when they included it, it was like toward the end of the movie, and she even delivers this kind of line, and I was like, is this their like trying to add some levity to it? Because she delivers this line of something like, how do my balls taste now? But it was like cut with the scene where I think Andy gets hit with the car and is like drowned because she's at the sport place away from
Mhm.
the house, and I was like, that's a weird cut. It was very I didn't like, and they put this song over that had like a lot of energy to it, but it was overcut with a really dramatic brutal scene, and I was like, that's really fucking weird. I don't know, that was another
I don't
editing
remember that.
problem.
I don't remember
Really?
that
Oh,
being
I
the case.
remember.
I might have to. No, I remember the scene, but I don't remember the music
Because
being.
yeah, there was
I
like
don't remember
music
music.
because she even delivered the music cuts and she delivers a line of something like how does that ball taste or how do my
Huh.
balls taste or something. But it's like when she's away from the house because it's after the mom, and then when the mom picks her up, it's after she's gotten hit in the eye because
Yeah.
the teacher's like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about her
Yeah.
Piper's eye, and so it was. I know it was cut with a very dramatic scene. I'm pretty sure it's the scene where she hits the people with the car and kills Andy, and then you've got this song and this weird delivery line like how do my balls taste, and I was like, that was really a weird place to put that.
Hmm.
So another
Yeah, that's
editing
fair.
problem I had. Just
Well, it's okay to be wrong.
3 stars.
I'm
Two, one
dropping
and a
it
half,
down.
1.3.
3/4 stars
Mm.
Got
from
to
me, boy
justify
Soto.
myself over here before people come in and try to crucify me.
That is, I mean, you gave it a 4.5, dude. That's,
I
I
know.
mean,
Yeah,
if anybody has a
I'm
problem with
fascinated that you consider yourself Jesus Christ in this scenario.
it,
Don't I
don't
always?
crucify me.
Yeah,
Don't
I guess
do
that's fair.
it.
Oh
Don't.
no, they're putting me back up there. Oh
The
God.
masses are after me, boys.
I'm not your martyr. That's going to be a 4.4 from the Straight Chilling crew. Let's jump over to a Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these folks guess within the best of their ability what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for Bring Her Back, starting with the Tomatometer, also known as the critic score, and then moving over to the Poopometer, also known as the user score. So, starting with these critics, there are 137 critics counted. 137. Let's start with Bob today. And Bob, why don't you tell me what you think the aggregate positive score is for those 137 tomatometer readings?
I think it's high, but how high are we gonna go? This is really brutal. I could see some just people, critics and users, honestly, like poo-pooing this because it is so relentless. This is not for everybody. Um, I'll take I'll take the comedy number 69.
All right, 69. Juice, where are you coming in at?
I think it's gonna be way higher than that. That's weird for me to think Bob's thinks it's that low. I
Huh.
think people are gonna be like us. I think the critics are going to rate this quite high. So I'm gonna take the boys 86. Dudes versus
86. All
boys.
right. Well,
I see it every day.
dudes versus boys.
I believe
But
that, Bob.
that's that. That's what.
In your
That's how I. That's my. That's my shorthand for the
God
American Civil
damn.
War. Dudes versus boys. Um. Anyway, one of you is just 4 percentage points away from the correct answer. So you guys are in very different parts of the map, but one of you is much closer. The correct answer would have been 90%. Soju's walking
my
away with this
God.
one pretty tidily.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
Bob.
Certified.
That's 60. Now, wow. Yeah. I think
Look,
I don't
Hey,
know.
Bob
this
Bob
movie's
takes the
not
under,
for
he
the
goes all the way
posers,
under.
okay?
Well, I mean,
It's-
just YouTubers turned filmmakers making competent films that have amazing cinematography and build out the story. You don't think the critics are gonna praise that like to all like high head? Like,
I mean,
oh,
there's a
anybody
child
can
eating a
do it.
frozen corpse. Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
I think most critics and like filmmakers in general watching this are gonna say, "Hell yeah!"
Oh, Jesus.
There it is. You could
Bob.
have seen that, Rob. If that had been a train, you
Bob.
would be dead by now. It was honking. It was blowing its horn all the way.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly like. I feel the same as Juice. Like, this definitely is a high, like. I don't know. I thought that at most a nominal amount because it's their second film. It's still, in my opinion, at least comparably as good as their first. But there's gonna be people that are suddenly like, oh, well, they're not the new hotness anymore. So the hot take is gonna be to say this is
Sure,
bad.
I could
and
see
here it is.
that. Yeah, but
That's kind of where I felt like
I
it was
think if
going.
it were a weaker film, then I could see that perspective of like, even if it was just like an okay film that like people would pile on, but this even though it's brutal, like
It stands up.
yeah, I don't know.
Stands
Yeah.
up. I'm with you. All right, we're gonna move over to the poopometer. 500 plus verified ratings from the users, the poopers themselves. Soju, why don't you kick us off? You just came off a pretty big victory there. Why don't you see if you can repeat?
Yeah, I mean, maybe this will fall more in line with what Bob's thinking, but I still don't think it's gonna dip that low because, again, I didn't watch the trailer for this, so I don't know what they advertise this as, but I think most people are going to expect a horror film going into this. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty brutal, but I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna say The Boys Never Let Me Down, and I'm gonna take the 86 again. I think it's gonna be in that same range.
Okay, 86 from Soju again. Bob, you reconsidering your life a little bit here? You gonna get it back together?
I'll take 84. 84 so that we can tie.
Oh, okay.
84. Oh, okay. Well, a valiant effort, but there will be no tie. And one of you is again, the winner is 4 percentage points exactly away from the correct answer. And that correct answer is 80%. Bob's walking away with this.
Ooh.
It's like, damn, it'd be crazy if they were both 90.
That would be crazy, but it's not.
But, okay,
It's,
yeah, that
90
makes
and an
sense.
80.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The
Well,
users
that's a
say
yeet and
hell
skeet.
skeet.
They say yeet
Yeah,
and
they-
skeet, baby.
The yeet and
They
ski.
say that all of the time.
That's
You
what
can't
they
stop
say.
hearing
You
these
can't
things.
stop them from saying it.
You can't do it.
I've tried, but I've been unsuccessful.
Failed.
Please stop.
Stop us.
All
We
right.
can't stop saying yeet and skeet.
So yeah, now we're gonna read a couple negative reviews just for the funsies because there's slim pickings on these. So here's a couple of them. Bring her back as revolting filmmaking for revolting purposes. I don't understand that.
It's a horror
At all.
movie.
What's the revolting purpose?
To revolt
Making
you?
people afraid. I don't know. Like, what is this?
Afraid of what? Demons?
I
Yeah.
like just
Foster
scaring people
parents?
is
I don't-
just mean. I don't know. Like, yeah, like what is the revolting purpose here?
Yeah, I don't Yeah,
understand.
what do you think they're trying to do? That's
Just
revolting.
trying
And what is the
Trying to
what
gross
made
you out?
filmmaking revolting? But I guess it was like the gore as
like, you know what? That would fit perfectly for like Human Centipede 2.
Sure.
You know?
Yes. Yeah, that's
Not
bottom
this
base
movie.
level shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
this is
revolting
not-
movie that is made cravenly mostly, I think.
Not a gross out movie. I mean, it's gross, but that's not the point.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, it's far from it.
That's bullshit.
right, so Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that.
I call bullshit on that.
I call
what-
bullshit on that.
I call
You're a
bullshit.
bullshit
on
artist. All right, one
Bullshit
more,
artist.
and I have
Let's review
Here we
that
go.
film again.
okay. The next 3 episodes, Greasy Strangler.
Oh
that.
my
Greasy Dangler. You got it.
God. The
Oh,
sequel.
boy. Okay, here we go. Talk to Me had a roller coaster vibe to it, propulsively surging along. This is just about feeling bad for a little under 2 hours, and with a subpar ending, it is feeling bad for a little under 2 hours for no good reason.
Subpar ending.
I mean, I don't know what was particularly subpar about it. I guess I don't know. I'd have to
I
read more. And
mean,
I'm just
the
not
kid
going.
didn't eat the whole corpse, so minus a star.
yeah, I mean,
I'll say this.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was like tangential, but like I thought for sure Connor was a dead man. Like that. I thought that kid was not going to make it out alive. The fact that he did is almost worse. Like
Oh, Ollie, you
worse in
mean?
terms of like. Well, Connor's his real name.
Yeah.
Ollie Connor Birds was his actual name, so that's what I keep calling him. But
His name's Ollie. He's got
name
thick,
is
curly
Ollie.
red hair.
Sure does. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, feeling bad. I can understand feeling bad for 2 hours not being your cup of tea because this movie is a lot of that. It is a lot of that. A lot of people are going to feel that way. But I don't know that it's not for any good reason. Like, what would be a better what better reason exactly? I don't know. Like, can you think of a reason for a movie to have this in it? Otherwise, and if not, maybe it's just not for you. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's it. Rob,
Watch
trivia me. You got any?
comedies. No, there's
Yeah.
really no trivia to speak of since this is a brand new movie. Basically, all the trivia I could find was like about Talk to Me, Talk
Yeah.
to Me, the sequel, that they're
Talk
apparently
to Me.
making.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think we talked about that. You
Talk
know what?
to Me
I'm glad this
2.0.
movie came. Even if they're doing that, I don't really want them to do that, but make your money, I guess. But I'm glad this
Mhm.
came out first. It
They
makes me
Yeah.
respect. If they had just done Talk to Me, I probably would have respected them a little bit less, to be honest with you. But this coming out and then knowing that a sequel's coming out, I'm kind of like, yeah, I know you guys can do it now and get your
so
money.
Yeah.
Go get your money.
what I read was they had this idea before Talk to Me, and then they couldn't get it made, and then they did Talk to Me, and
Oh,
then
good for them.
once that hit, they were like, we got another one ready to go that nobody wanted to
Good.
make, and then they just fucking banged it out.
Good for them.
That's fair,
So
man.
yeah, yeah, which
Cool.
Yeah,
maybe
I hope that they
explains why
do.
this feels a little more simple in theme,
Yeah,
perhaps, but still good, solid.
For
cool.
whatever it's worth, I'm with you. I don't really want or need a Talk to Me sequel, but seeing that they can, defeat the filmmaker's biggest hurdle or biggest enemy, which is the second movie, and come out smelling like roses still is enough
Roses.
collateral for me to get through the next one,
The sophomore
even if it's
slut.
not as good.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not. I don't think we should be.
That's what they
spreading
called
that
me in
particular-
high school.
No.
Hey, let's talk about the Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juicy
Love that
J. What is a cooter? Why do we hunt them?
You see, slut means the end in Swedish, Randy. So that's
The
sophomore the end.
sophomore end.
Is that better? Maybe a
well,
little.
kind
but
of
not
because the
much.
sophomore ended. The
Oh my
sophomore
God, where are the
movie has
Cooters of the
ended.
Week? We found them. We
I think
found
this
them.
conversation is the cooter of the week.
It's us.
Oh, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. We've got our legal team on it. If you used it, you're going down, baby.
Our legal team is Randeezy, Randiesel, and Randu.
HR Randeezy.
That's right.
The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, think there's probably a cooter this week, and her name is Sally Fields. No, Sally Hawkins.
The flying nun herself.
Sally Hawkins. What is this character's name? I
Laura.
should call her Sally. Sally.
She's the one that bangs the fish
Sally.
in Shape of Water. That's
She's
Yeah,
got
she has a
to
thing
wait
about
a minute.
fools,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. She
she's
does.
got to wait a goddamn
She
meanie.
needs to wait a meanie.
Sally.
Yeah, I think
Wait
she's
a
the
minute.
clear and only candidate, right? Like I don't think.
Oh,
there's
I
a
think
Yeah.
so.
candidate.
Yeah.
Manipulation.
Dad, but it's all off camera. So,
Yeah, manipulation is so high.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Crazy.
high. The way she takes that, she's a counselor. She's been that's her job for 20 years. The way she
Mhm.
takes what that boy, who's grieving, told her in confidence and throws it like back in his face and uses it as a tool to separate him from his sister. It's so fucked up. Like that's so fucked up.
I mean, even before that,
Oh, your
though, like,
dad abused you, so now you'll abuse your
Kiss
sister.
your dad
It's
on the
like,
mouth,
God
you
damn.
pussy.
kiss him on the mouth. What do you hate tradition?
That is
Um,
a corpse, and it's his dad's corpse.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I mean, if it was
counselor
his mom's
knows
corpse,
that
then
that's not okay.
Just
Oh my
that
god.
he's related, and it all makes it even
As long
worse.
as it's a no homo situation, it should be fine.
Oh my god. Hey, it's Pride Month, Randy. Let's chill out. Okay.
I know it. I know it. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I know it.
Even setting that aside, though, like, think about, she is a child counselor of 20 years, the best they ever had, and the first thing, or like before anything else happens in this movie, she abducts a child. Like, she
Yeah, good
abducts a
call,
child
yeah.
from his room.
Puts a demon in
And
his ass.
in
too.
order to put a demon in him, and then
well,
she's like so fucked up that she's willing, this person who has supposedly been so instrumental in helping so many people for 20 years, so many kids, is willing
Apparently.
to endanger and kill
Yeah.
3 children, and endanger or attempted murder 3 kids and one of her best friends from work. Like, Jesus Christ. That's
well, and
pathetic.
that's
by the
another
way.
good point too, of like the sacrifice it takes, like even like to bring your daughter back, you like have in your mind, I'm going to kill 3 other children. I mean, at least 2, minimum of 2, because she's
Yeah,
got
at
to do
least,
Ollie
yeah.
and the girl, but yeah, then
Right.
she has no problem with the brother too. So yeah, manipulation quite high.
Smug arrogance. She's
smug
really smug
arrogance.
until the very end, where she kind of breaks.
She
But then she
breaks.
kind of
Yeah.
regains it a little too. I think she's smug. I think so.
The patheticness
She's
too. There's
smug.
something about her break that too, where
She's
she gets very
begging.
but it gets to this point where it gets so out of control. It's almost like a scene from a comedy film where like a dad's trying to cook the Christmas turkey or some shit, and it's like on fire, and like everything's just gone to shit.
It's
like you
fucking,
have this big
it's literally steamed
plan.
hams.
Yeah,
It's
steamed ham.
literally steamed hams.
Yeah, it's kind
dude.
of like that, where it's just so all
Good God,
falling
what is going
apart.
on in there? I'm drowning a child.
Yeah. So yeah, she
Hey, it's just Christmas. It's
just Christmas hams. So patheticness. So manipulation, smug arrogance, patheticness, sexual deviancy. Are we gonna give the whole kiss thing? Are we gonna lock that in the sexual deviance or no?
I don't think it's sexual. It's
She's also
fucked up.
pissing on some 17-year-old boy.
She's
That's
pouring her piss
that's-
on. I think that's more manipulation. That's not sexual. It is insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's well past.
I'm not-
insane, but it's not.
I'm not saying I'll
sexual.
never do that personally, but it's
You're not.
crazy.
I would like
hope
for you to
that
please commit
yeah,
to
I
never
want you to
doing
take
that.
a moment. And
I don't
say
think we're
that
moving on until
You're
you
not
say that you're not going to do
pee
that.
on
Hey,
a 17-year-old.
Our,
child.
our audience deserves to hear this.
I mean, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It's just a
okay.
prank, bro. Is that what you're
Just-
telling
It's just
me,
a
Bob?
prank, bro. My
What's a little
God.
pee between bros?
What do you mean you don't like it?
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God. What the hell? You think,
I think
you
it's
know a
important
guy.
to note that we are all separate individuals, and
Yep.
this group enterprise is not
We live-
always representative of all of
Hey,
us.
Separate
I'm
cities and
just-
continents away, so we're
I'm
not
just joking
participating
around
in
with
any of
my
the same
boys.
activities.
Just having a
Okay.
Josh.
Oh my
Mm.
God. Let's finish this up
Okay.
now. So looking attire. She wears purple to a wedding.
She
Can we
does,
give
yeah.
that to her, please?
Well, a funeral.
A funeral.
I
to
think-
a wedding.
Oh,
A
my-
fu-
What? That you sounded like a catty episode of Say Yes to the Dress for a second. Yeah.
Who
No,
wears purple to a wedding? My
This
God.
slut wore purple to my wedding.
My
Talk about
God.
bad
It's
taste.
autumn.
Um,
That's a spring dress.
yeah, she dresses like it's fucking Easter, but the sweater, I think, was that it was a different purple sweater than the one the daughter wore, right? Like, That was
I
all.
think so.
don't
Yeah, I think it
know.
was.
Probably.
Yeah, okay. But she
She's
wore sweaters like the entire time. She's very a knit person. Everything's knit.
She's got at least 4 out of the 5, maybe even all 5, but at least 4.
Also,
Enough.
was this so hard for anybody else to watch? Another thing that just really bothered me in a like well-crafted way, when she's putting the sweater on the daughter and then she's like doing her hair, I felt so bad for that little girl of like,
Me
how
too,
can you
man.
be like sitting there?
Oh.
Oh my God. Anyways, that made
And
me
like
so
watching the fucking
uncomfortable.
tape of her kid's party or whatever. By the way, I don't know if I was right about this, but I feel like I saw Connor Bird at the party as a kid.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's
It was
interesting.
at the party.
I missed that. I have to rewatch
Could
that.
be.
It
Yeah,
did look
I kind of
like
want to look for that.
the thing that struck me about that party is like this looks like a Halloween party, but also a pool party, and that sounds fucking rad.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Well,
Because they were all
Bob,
in
you-
like costume and shit.
not to blow up your spot here, but you have possession of a large body of water in your back area.
The
So
Atlantic Ocean
that's the one.
in my back area.
Your back taint area.
It's Sally. I mean, Sally
It's Sa-
Hawkins being the actress, Laura being the character.
Sally.
Wait a minute. We got her. There's no one else. No one even comes close.
No, everybody else in this is just coping or dealing with some shit.
Yep, we got her. We're gonna skip what we've been watching this week. We don't have any voicemails, but if you would like to call in and leave one for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have any prompts you want to throw out there?
I don't know. We're watching Crawl 2019 next month or next week rather, as I recall.
Yeah,
Right?
the winner of the June poll was Crawl, and that's what we're doing next week.
Okay. All right. I guess you got
Gators
any
and
storm
hurricanes.
stories? Got any gator
Yeah.
stories? Like I don't know. Spooky storm stories are always fun. So that was hurricane season
Yeah.
was the prompt.
I
Yeah.
have this like one like really good memory of a specific hurricane season in high school, I think, where I think it would like tore a bunch of shit up in our hometown. Like some streets were flooded, the power is out. But we got like a week off from school and
Lloyd.
it was like our junior or senior year. And so we all just like hung out during that week. And so it was a really cool week. Do y'all remember
It's a
that?
rad time. There's a
Terrifying
few of those,
story.
honestly.
Huh?
No, yeah.
There's a few of those. There was another
Mm.
week towards the end, like latter college days, and I remember
Mhm.
one of our friends was like just in a house that had a pool. I don't even know whose house it was. He was just there.
Oh,
I remember like driving through like hurricane force winds to get to the pool and go swimming in the rain. I don't know, man.
Oh my God. We are Florida men.
We are
We
Florida.
are.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
So yeah, call in with your storm stories, I guess. Or gator
Yeah, I don't know.
stories.
Gator stores. If you've ever been to
Gator
Gatorland in Florida.
I don't have any gator stories really. I mean, you see
I
them
don't have any gator
around
stories either, man.
occasionally,
Yeah,
but
I mean
like,
nothing crazy.
you just leave them alone.
Which I guess the fact that we're saying I've seen them and they're around is not crazy and like for Florida, man.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
them all the
that's true.
time.
not
Yeah,
not
well-
even all the time, just once in a while. You
Yeah.
just don't fuck with them.
We used to
and
go.
Every so often you
we
see
used
one
to go
crossing the
s-
street with some groceries and you just kind of ignore them and mind your own business. Like,
We
whatever.
used to
Publix
go
bag.
skiing in Black Creek, and every now and then, even though like we were in the water and like skiing, you would see them like out close to the banks and stuff. That's kind of fucked
Mhm.
up now that I think about it.
Yeah.
They're not really aggressive. Like crocodiles are aggressive as hell. If you just like leave them alone,
It's
you're
true.
kind of
Yeah.
you're good. Call in 904-638-3231 with your gator and or storm stories. We're talking about Crawl from 2019 next week. Check it out. Get ready for the show. That's about it. Hope you guys are enjoying your summer. Not sweating too much. Staying cool. Not eating too many corpses.
Stay cool.
Stay
bitch.
cool. Stay cool. And until next week, as always, keep chilling.
I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
Stop recording.